I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight.
That's a different type of party. Yeah. No, I mean the after party.
No, I know about them.
It's almost surreal to think that just a year ago, Diddy was living like an untouchable icon, flaunting yacht trips, hosting million-dollar parties, and basking in the glow of hip-hop royalty. Fast forward to today. He's locked away inside one of America's toughest federal jails, stripped of his empire, clad in an orange jumpsuit, and sleeping on a metal cot under 24-hour surveillance. Once celebrated for his power and influence, Diddy is now fighting serious allegations: sex trafficking, racketeering, kidnapping, alongside a growing avalanche of over 100 civil lawsuits. With no bail, no special treatment, and no luxury mansion to retreat to, he now sits behind the harsh walls of MDC Brooklyn, a prison indifferent to fame, fortune, or Grammy wins. This isn't a media spectacle. It's real life, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Even more shocking than his fall from grace is the brutal reality. Diddy now faces decades of buried secrets, alone, without the safety net that once protected him. But what exactly is MDC Brooklyn, and why do so many say that no one leaves the same?
Yeah, so since KK has been kind of roped into this, because she was Diddy's right-hand woman, she's kind of not been really seen too much. I mean, there was pictures of Diddy the day that after he settled Cassie's lawsuit, he's like, the pictures of him are outside his Miami house. He's looking really stressed. And there's a woman there in a robe next to him. That's KK. But really since that moment, we haven't seen too much of her. And she's been named in 3 lawsuits. One by a former producer who worked with Diddy on the Love album. A former executive assistant, Phil Pines, who we've spoken about at length on this podcast. And then a woman called Ashley Parham, who is in San Francisco. So she has not really been saying too much of anything until now.
Yeah, people were speculating that she'd gone missing because she did have public facing profiles on social media, but those seem to have been wiped and her LinkedIn deleted. Now, Cheyenne, you've got a response from her. People have been reaching out to her for months and months trying to get a response. What has she said to you about her involvement or lack of involvement?
Yeah. So in a statement given to me at Rolling Stone, KK basically said that she's been dealing for months with these really awful allegations, and they're causing her family harm. They're causing her harm. And she definitively says, I've never condoned or abated and abetted this sexual assault of anyone, nor have I drugged anyone. And she basically says that these allegations are heinous and disturbing, and that she looks forward to clearing her name.
Sean, we've had 2 superseding indictments now, and she hasn't been added on as a co-defendant. Is there a possibility that she may have gone in and given her own evidence to maybe, if she had done something wrong, and she could take a plea deal there?
There's a possibility. Do I believe it's realistic? Probably not, mostly based upon her statement. Because her statement is a very, very strong denial. And if the prosecutors were going to meet with her and put her on the stand, you would assume her statement would have been so bold as, I've never done anything wrong whatsoever, because it was open her up for cross-examinations. And why did you lie in the statement? And now you're lying on the stand. And that's just my gut reaction.
And we haven't really covered what she's been accused of in these 3 different civil lawsuits. So Lil Rod is a producer who was working with Diddy in the Love Off the Grid album that came out in 2022. She was accused early in a lawsuit from him, which was filed for $30 million. Basically, he says,
Welcome to MDC Brooklyn, the prison where no one leaves the same. This isn't just a prison. It's a pressure cooker ready to explode. The walls seep with tension, guards barely show their faces, and violence is the daily currency. MDC is notorious for brutal fights, random stabbings, and an atmosphere of unchecked chaos. Over the past year alone, inmates have been killed, critically injured, and neglected so severely that lawsuits are mounting fast. Overcrowded, understaffed, and rotting with corruption from the inside out, this place wasn't designed for redemption. It was built for raw survival. For someone like Diddy, a man who once commanded every room he entered, MDC feels like being thrown into the ocean without a life vest. No phones, no handlers. Just 4 concrete walls and enemies he might not even recognize yet. Insiders say MDC has zero sympathy for celebrities. If anything, it paints an even bigger target on their backs. Clout is currency behind these walls, and the bigger your name, the harder people aim to break you. There's no VIP section here, just predators, pressure, and relentless paranoia. And that leads to the deadliest reality of all, trying to survive as a celebrity in a Shark Tank.
To who? You have to have done it to someone, but there's no effort at all to uncover that.
Yeah, but I'm saying now this year, it's kind of crazy how this year started off with, what's his name, Cat Williams on Shannon Sharp. He starts talking, spilling the tea, sipping the cognac.
Yeah.
And then now this whole P. Diddy thing.
Sometimes you have to tell Diddy no.
Oh, man, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, man.
Sean Diddy Combs' alleged list of accomplishments to be revealed soon. The names will shock you, attorney says. Whoa.
I think he's going to sing, I think
he has to sing or he
bro,
goes
also,
to jail
I'll tell you
for the
one
rest of his
thing.
life.
God protects me. I'm so glad God protects me because, look, if I got invited to the white party, I'd have gone.
Especially if you didn't know.
Of course, no one knew. No one
Right.
knew.
If
And
you
then
don't
you
know, you're
find
just
out.
a celebrity and you know, oh, Jennifer Lopez is going to be there. Oh, Rick
That's what I'm
Ross is
saying.
going to be there. Everyone's going to be there.
And-
That would be a cool place. I want to meet those people.
Facts. And I just want to be there having fun partying, but then they start to, apparently, they said they were using, I'm going to guess it's like ketamine because they said horse tranquilizer and they were putting in people's drinks in the champagnes and then getting them all loose.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a secret. It's just us two, right?
Yeah.
After I knocked out Pereira in Miami, we went to Tootsie's the next night and they were like, yo, P. Diddy wasn't here watching your fight last night. I was like, wait, word? Crazy. Then I went and checked my DMs and I saw, oh shit, he hit me up. And he was talking about 2 months later, I want to do an interview or whatever. And I said, here's my manager's number. Pop, cool. Nothing ever came off it. But again, that's why I say God be protecting me.
Right.
Because who knows? Like, you never know. Oh, yeah, we're having this party later on. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, yeah, cool. And then they start to like, you find some chick, you pull on you, and then boom. Oh, how was that 15-year-old? Wait, what?
Right. And
Yeah.
you're filmed. Yeah.
I heard about that. Yeah.
He
But
had
again-
allegedly
Yeah,
cameras
all
all over the
allegedly.
house and 100,000
1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Yeah. What?
Nobody's that
1,000?
ashy, bro. 1,000 bottles. Also, by the way, that's shit lube. Coconut oil is better. Fucking water-based lubricant. But baby oil is acidic as fuck. Johnson & Johnson's. Like, that's demonic, bro. Like, why would you use baby oil? Even
Old
if you're
school.
fucking dudes. Nah.
You probably started out with it. That's all the bottles.
Nah, that's AI. That's
that
gotta be
AI?
AI. That's gotta be AI.
I don't know if it's AI. I think that's real. I
Bro,
think
I'm
it was
telling you.
lube and baby oil. I think you had a variety of different substances.
Who counted that? Was
Look at that.
1,000.
Look at that.
1, 2, 3
Bro,
bottles of
imagine
baby
having
oil. 4, 5,
500
6 bottles
bottles.
of baby oil on the wall.
Imagine having 500 bottles and go, we need to go for a
Yeah.
fucking Target run.
Nah, man. Oh, the fact that said it was fucking, what do you call it, Costco, and Costco goes, nah, we don't sell that shit.
What is this? Defaced AR-15s? Interesting. What does that mean? Does that mean
So they scratched the
serial
what do you
numbers
call it
off?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a serious crime.
Yeah.
That's a serious crime.
But again, see, he's in cahoots with.
When you're locked up with people who have nothing to lose, fame becomes a death sentence, not an advantage. Inside MDC, no one cares about your legacy. They care about building their own. If taking down a celebrity earns them status, they'll do it without hesitation. Sources say Diddy's name is circulating heavily behind those walls, and not in a good way. To most inmates, he's not a mogul but a target, a high-value prize walking a tightrope without a net. Although officials have reportedly placed him in protective custody, true safety doesn't exist in MDC. If someone wants to get to you, they will, whether through a poisoned meal, a setup in the yard, or a guard willing to look the other way. For Diddy, with decades of secrets, scandals, and enemies, MDC isn't just dangerous. It's a minefield. Some believe the real threat he faces isn't from the courts, but from the prison blocks, especially with some of his alleged victims, or their loyal allies, possibly serving time alongside him. Gossip spreads like wildfire inside, and every scandal fuels inmate rage. Allegations of the freak-off parties and sex trafficking haven't stayed outside the walls. Inmates are loudly and angrily discussing his past. Many see Diddy's downfall as karma, others see him as a trophy. His legend inside is crumbling. He's no longer viewed as a mogul or a player, but as a predator who finally got caught. Solitary confinement isn't just punishment for him. It's his only shot at survival. Right now, he's locked in the IOSU, spending 23 hours a day alone in a concrete box, facing the ghosts of his past. Experts say solitary can shatter even the strongest minds, and with public humiliation, criminal charges, and a collapsing empire weighing on him. Diddy's fight is no longer just against the courts, it's against himself.
Let's talk about Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs. He's allegedly been paying his fellow inmates for the use of their telephone accounts to allegedly influence his sex trafficking trial and blackmail victims. This is according to prosecutors. What more can you tell us about this?
Yes, so he does not want investigators and prosecutors to be able to hear him on these calls. These calls are recorded, so he's using other inmates to allow, in exchange for cash, he uses their phone time, so it's filed under their name. So it will be harder for investigators and prosecutors to go listen in. But he's also asking the person on the other end of the phone to do a three-way call. So that is also against the rules. I don't know what the repercussions of something like this could be. Perhaps he could have those privileges taken away, phone privileges taken away. But clearly something nefarious is going on for him to be so strategic in the way he's trying to, to outwit the prosecutors.
We haven't talked about Britney Spears for a long time. There are reports her youngest son, Jaden, who's 18 now, has reached out to his mum, who he hasn't seen for some time. He's been estranged from her. He wants to reunite. What can you tell us about this? It's so sad that she has really no contact with her own children.
Yeah, so he moved to Hawaii with his brother and father and his father's new family. Here, Rita, I'm a little cynical here because I understand that the child support has recently run out since he's turned 18 years old. Dad is no longer getting those big checks. And so I'm wondering if he's reconnected with mommy because it's the Bank of Britney and it's always been the Bank of Britney. So, I don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but I'm a little cynical when it comes to these children that have been critical of her in the public and in the media. All of a sudden somebody, comes home and is ready to get back in with mommy. I think it might be the Bank of Britney.
Let's talk about the showdown in the courtroom over the bombshell video allegedly showing Sean Diddy Combs beating his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura.
Diddy's lawyers are arguing to exclude the footage from the rapper's upcoming sex trafficking trial. Legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer joins us now with more on what this could mean for the high-profile case. So good to have you. Okay, so they want this video left out. What's their argument for this?
So Mark Agnifilo, Sean Combs' attorney, is arguing that you probably hear this phrase, this is not a true and accurate representation of what the video depicts. He's saying a number of arguments that the CNN had taken this video and sped it up. They kind of chopped it up into this montage, and it's not accurate. He's also making the allegation that the original video no longer exists. And so because this isn't accurate, the jury shouldn't see it. And according to Diddy's attorneys, because the original doesn't exist or it's been tampered with, no video such as this should be presented to the jury.
So what is CNN saying about these claims?
So CNN has come out and said, we did not alter it. We did not change anything. And in fact, they're saying that they do have the original as well. So on multiple levels, Sean Combs' argument kind of falls flat because if it is sped up, and I think there is some degree of it's being sped up, if the original still exists, that can still be used as evidence against Sean Combs, not necessarily to the allegations of sex trafficking, RICO conspiracy, or the transportational purpose of prostitution, but to show that this is a force that it was used to keep victim number one, who we believe to be Cassie.
Brooklyn isn't just dangerous, it's corrupt to the core. If you think Diddy only needs to fear the inmates, think again. This place has a long, grim history of smuggling, violence, and scandals that read like a crime novel. Guards have been caught sneaking in drugs, phones, even weapons. Internal investigations have exposed bribery, abuse, and behavior that would make even a mob boss flinch. One officer was even arrested after leading a high-speed chase and firing at a civilian. That's the level of chaos behind these walls. Now picture Diddy, a billionaire facing explosive accusations, trapped in a system where everything has a price. If an inmate wants to get to him, a dirty guard can make it happen. If someone wants access, the system can be twisted. Source it. Say Diddy isn't just being targeted by inmates. Some staff might be watching too, some to protect him, others waiting for the right time to cash in. In MDC, it's not survival of the fittest, it's survival of the luckiest. And eventually, luck runs out. Once the cameras fade, the real battle begins. The one inside Diddy's own mind. Publicly, his ego was always bulletproof. But ego doesn't survive the crushing loneliness of solitary confinement. In the SHU, where hours drag into eternity, the only thing left is your own darkness. Mental health in prison is already a crisis, and fame only makes it worse. Add the weight of lawsuits, leaked tapes, betrayal, and a crumbling legacy, and it becomes a death spiral. Experts warn that just a few weeks in isolation can trigger hallucinations, violent mood swings, and complete psychological collapse. Sources say Diddy is already breaking down, refusing food, barely speaking, pacing endlessly, muttering to himself. The shine is gone. What's left isn't a mogul, a superstar, or an icon, just a man, cornered by truth, haunted by silence, and slowly losing the only thing he still had: his mind.
The judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male sex workers across state lines to take part in recorded sexual performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence. David Willis reports.
Among those present at the Manhattan courthouse, Sean Combs' 83-year-old mother, Janice, who earlier in the week sprang publicly to his defense.
Have you guys spoken to your father? Have you spoken to your father?
And other family members, including his twin daughters, Jessie and Delilah.
Christian, have you spoken to your father?
Hey, straight ahead, dog, straight ahead.
One of hip-hop's biggest names, the man who shaped the sound and culture of an entire generation, has spent the last 3 weeks in jail. Raids by heavily armed agents on his homes in Miami and Los Angeles in March this year led to federal charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. Combs, who is also facing a slew of civil lawsuits, has pleaded not guilty and blew kisses to family members in the courtroom before being led away. His lawyer has called the sexual activity described by prosecutors consensual, citing, amongst other things, the leak of this security video alleged to show Sean Combs assaulting his ex-girlfriend Jessie Ventura in the hallway of a Los Angeles hotel in 2016. Combs' lawyer asked the judge to impose a gag order banning prosecutors from leaking evidence in the case to the media. Sean Combs is due to stand trial in May of next year. Prosecutors have said further charges may follow, but he already faces the possibility of spending the rest of his life in jail. David Willis, BBC News, Los Angeles.
With the Sean Combs trial fast approaching, prosecutors are adding to their case, now hitting the former rap mogul with additional sex trafficking charges. ABC News' chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky is here with those details. Good morning, Aaron.
Hey, good morning, Janae. Sean Combs is set to go on trial 1 month from today, and the case against him just got a little bigger. This morning, Sean Diddy Combs faces 2 additional criminal charges a month before he's scheduled to stand trial in New York. Federal prosecutors charged Combs with an additional count of sex trafficking and an additional count of transportation to engage in prostitution. Both relate to an individual referred to in court papers as Victim 2. Combs previously pleaded not guilty to 1 count of each of those charges, as well as the most serious charge he faces, racketeering conspiracy.
For Sean Combs, the challenge in this new superseding indictment is that any one alleged victim could amount to serious prison time. He would have to disprove each and every one of the 4 alleged victims, because if even one is believed, he could serve life behind bars.
Combs now faces a total of 5 federal counts that could get him decades in prison if convicted. His attorneys are downplaying the new indictment, saying in a statement these are not new allegations or new accusers. These are the same individuals, former long-term girlfriends who were involved in consensual relationships. This was their private sex life, defined by consent, not coercion. But the indictment says Combs lured women under the pretense of a romantic relationship into engaging in sexual encounters, and when he didn't get his way, prosecutors allege Combs kidnapped a woman, flashed a gun, and dangled a female victim.